Happy New Year, and this is the start of a new story. The protagonist is called Mig, an graduated college student that found himself against an infection that has overruns his home. This is his story and how he faces the end of the world. Chapter 3. The Convoy, Part 3, The New Mission, Rizal Park, Manila, Day 6. The Lost Tanids. Mig stood in the command tent, the weight of Renato's words heavy on his shoulders. Salamat, Tol. Thanks, bro. Renato's voice was hoarse, his eyes red. Sinubukan mo pa rin. You still tried. Migs nodded, but the guilt still gnawed at him. Dko sila Nikita. I didn't find them. Renato sighed, clapping his shoulder. Dinateo papasak sa mga territorio ng Hari Maliban kung sigurado tayong makakalabas. We're not entering Monarch territory unless we're sure we can get out. He handed Migs a new map, red zones marked where the Hari ruled. Maraming nawawala. Pero di nateo magsasayang ng buhay. Many are missing, but we won't waste lives. Migs stared at the marked areas. The city was shrinking. A new purpose. That night, Migs found the engineers in a corner of the park, working under tarps. Dr. Reyes was tinkering with a damaged Bahawi turret, her hands smudged with grease and blood. Kailang and namining tulong. We need help. She didn't look up. Kung gusto mong matuto tuturo and kita. Pero wag mong asahan na madali. If you want to learn, I'll teach you. But don't expect it to be easy. Migs crouched beside her. Tutulong ako. Kayadano. I'll help. Whatever it takes. She smirked. Maganda yen. Kailang and namining mga kame. Good. We need hands. For the next 2 days, Migs learned how to repair turrets with scavenged parts, how the Bahawi AI worked, autonomous targeting, adaptive learning, how the infected were evolving to counter it. Diito ginawa para sa mga zombie, Dr. Reyes muttered as they soldered a circuit board. This wasn't made for zombies. Pero kung gagamitin natin tuwing mayos, puwede nating palagan ang laban. But if we use it right, we can prolong the fight. Migs wiped sweat from his brow ***. Sige. Ano pa? All right. What else? The jeepney. When Migs returned to his apartment, Kuya Bong was waiting. Narinig ko na umalis na ang mga Bobby at bata. I heard the women and kids are leaving. Bong leaned against his jeepney, its paint chipped, its windows boarded. Gusto kong tumulong sa pag-evacuate. Pero kailang and ko in konting seguridad. I want to help with the evacuation, but I need some security. Migs understood. Anong kailangan mo? What do you need? Bong tapped the jeepney's side. Salat natu. Kailangan ng armor. At Sandata. This thing's a death trap. Needs armor. And weapons. Migs grinned. May idea ako. I've got an idea. Fortifying the ride. They worked through the night. Welded scrap metal to the jeepney's sides. Reinforced the windows with barbed wire and plywood. Mounted a Bahawi turret, salvaged from the engineers, on the roof. Stocked it with bleach bolts, molotovs, and a fire extinguisher. Parang tank natu, Bong joked, testing the turret's rotation. Migs checked the fuel. Hindi pa pero malapit na. Not yet, but close. Preparing the neighbors. The next morning, Migs gathered the remaining tenants, Aling Rosa, the college students, a few families who had nowhere else to go. May evacuation convoy bukas. There's an evacuation convoy tomorrow. He handed out backpacks, food, water, meds. Kung di ko makasake may plan B tayo. If you don't make it on, we've got a plan B. Aling Rosa crossed herself. Sana di na kailanganin yen. Hope we don't need it. Migs didn't answer. He knew the convoy might fail. The last briefing. At Rizal Park, the military was preparing for the final push. Helicopters circling, soldiers loading the last trucks. Dr. Reyes found Migs. Kung gamana ang turret mo, puwede nating I defend ang jeepney. If your turret works, we can defend the jeepney. She handed him a walkie-talkie. Tawagan mo kami kung may problema. Call us if there's trouble. Migs nodded, slipping it into his pocket. Ingat ka, she said. Be careful. Ooh. Ko din. You too. The convoy's fate. The next dawn, the convoy rolled out, trucks, jeepneys, APCs, headed for Batangas. Migs watched from the park's gates, Kuya Bong beside him. Sasamakabiye? You coming? Migs looked at his infected arm. The veins were still there, but the pain was fainter. Hindi pa. Not yet. He gripped his crossbow. May I bang kailang in paing tulong. Others still need help. Bong nodded. Di ka na mag-isa. You're not alone anymore. The The jeepney's engine roared as it joined the convoy. Miggs turned back to the city. Somewhere the Hari were watching. And he wasn't done fighting. Chapter 4. The Last Stand, Manila, Day 7. The convoy's aftermath. The convoy had made it to Batangas, but the reality was grim. The radio transmissions that crackled into Rizal Park painted a bleak picture. Overcrowded shelters, food shortages, and skirmishes with infected that had slipped through the military's defenses. The evacuation had saved lives, but the war was far from over. Rizal Park was now an outpost, a last bastion in a city of monsters. The military had shifted focus from evacuation to securing safe zones, but NCR's density made it near impossible. The monarchs were too many, too adaptive, and too intelligent. The military could hold Rizal Park, but reclaiming Manila? That was a dream. And Miggs? He was alone in his apartment fortress, but that was his strength. The fortress, a sanctuary in ruin. Miggs had turned his apartment into a stronghold, a place of survival in a city of death. Windows, barred with rebar, lined with bleach-soaked rags to deter infected. The glass was reinforced with duct tape and plywood, sealed so no scent could escape. Doors, reinforced with scavenged metal sheets, chains, and a makeshift alarm system. Empty cans strung on a wire, clattering at the slightest touch. Supplies, food, canned sardines, rice, instant noodles, anything non-perishable. Water, filtered rainwater, stored in jerry cans. Medicine, antibiotics, painkillers, bandages, stolen from abandoned clinics. Weapons, crossbows, Molotovs, bleach-tipped bolts, and a repurposed Bahawi turret mounted on the rooftop. Power, solar panels scavenged from abandoned buildings, wired to charge his drone and run LED lights. He wasn't just surviving. He was preparing for war. The New World Order, Rizal Park as command center. The military had fortified Rizal Park, turning it into a command center for the last stand in Manila. Walls, sandbags, barbed wire, and burned-out vehicles formed a perimeter. Watchtowers were manned by snipers, and Bahawi turrets were mounted on rooftops. Defenses, patrols and armored jeepneys scoured the streets, while drones mapped infected movements. Radios kept contact with other outposts, Clark Air Base, government holdouts in Quezon City. Intel, the infected were adapting. The monarchs were building armies. The military could hold Rizal Park, but reclaiming Manila? That was a lost cause. NCR was lost. The population density had fueled the outbreak, and the monarchs were too strong. The military could hold Rizal Park, but reclaiming Manila? That was a dream. The scavenger's life, a lone wolf in a city of monsters. Miggs didn't wait for orders. He scouted, salvaged, and saved who he could. His routine: drone recon, map infected nests, find survivors, locate supplies. The thermal feed showed green and red blobs, life and death in a city of ruins. Scavenging runs, loot pharmacies, meds, hardware stores, tools, supermarkets, food. He moved like a shadow, avoiding the monarch's territories. Rescue ops, only if safe. He learned from the Tanid's fate, no reckless heroics. Survivors were led to Rizal Park or given supplies to fortify their own hideouts. Fortify, always improve the apartment's defenses. Every trip brought new tools, new weapons, new ways to survive. Today's mission: a pharmacy near España Boulevard. His drone showed movement, not a horde but something worse. The new breed, workers of the monarchs. The pharmacy's door was barricaded, but something had torn through the plywood. Miggs crouched, crossbow ready. Then he saw it. A monarch's worker, not a mindless infected, but a twisted fusion of human and machine. Its arms were elongated, ending in drill-like appendages, its chest embedded with scrap metal, like it had absorbed the pharmacy's shelves. It moved with purpose, smashing through cabinets, collecting, no hoarding medicine. Di ka na tao, Miggs whispered. You're not human anymore. It turned. Eyes, still human, still aware, locked onto him. Tulong! It gurgled, lunging. Miggs fired. The bolt pierced its shoulder, but it kept coming. He dodged, slashed with his machete, severing the drill arm. Black fluid sprayed. It screamed, not in pain but in rage, and charged. Miggs barely rolled aside, grabbing a fire extinguisher. He sprayed its face, blinding it, then jammed the machete into its skull. Silence. Miggs panted, staring at the corpse. Ano ka na? What are you now? He looted the pharmacy, taking the meds the thing had hoarded. The engineer's gift, knowledge in the apocalypse. Back at Rizal Park, he found Dr. Reyes and her team tinkering with a damaged Bahawi drone. Medala AKO, Miggs said, handing her the meds. I brought something. She took them, nodding. Salamat. Kaling and Numbing too. Thanks. We need these. May bagon clasing infected, Miggs said. There's a new kind of infected. Nagdatego. Nagipon. Parang tau parin. They hide. They hoard. Like they're still human. Dr. Reyes frowned. Adaptacion. Adaptation. Nagaral sila. They're learning. Pano Nathan sila matatalo? How do we beat them? She looked at the Bahawi drone. Kung magagamit natinong AI nila, puid nating halanong kilos nila. If we can use their AI, we can predict their moves. Miggs grinned. Tutalong AKO. I'll help. The neighborhood watch, preparing for the worst. That night, Miggs returned to his apartment, armed with new intel and supplies. Kuyabong was waiting. Nabalatan KO Tol. Heard the news, bro. Di ka na sumama. You didn't go. Miggs shrugged. May I bang kaling and ingtalong. Others need help. Bong nodded. Gusto kong tumulong din pero kalang and koing tao sa jeep. I want to help too, but I need someone to watch the jeep. Miggs knew what he meant. Gagawa teoing plano. We'll make a plan. The last transmission, a warning from Clark Air Base. As dawn broke, Miggs heard it over the radio. Resal Park, this is Clark Air Base. Clark Air Base calling Resal Park. Di namin maholdong northern perimeter. We can't hold the northern perimeter. Pumapasakong mga hari. The Kings are breaking through. Static. Then, Kung Mala Kami, Wag Kaong Sumuko. If we fall, don't give up. Miggs looked at his fortress, his weapons, his neighbors. Di patepos too, he muttered. This isn't over. And somewhere in the dark, the Hari laughed. Happy New Year, and hopefully you liked this shorter versions. This is the third chapter of our new story with Mig.